welcome back to Meet the Authors. It's good to have you back here for our second segment of today's recording, and we have Ira Davis and his really amazing book. Here, I'll let you hold it and show us the camera.
How we doing?
Tell us the name of your book.
Mooneyes and the Dark Moon Council by Ira Davis.
All right, great. Let me shake your hand and welcome you to the show. Thanks.
All right.
So this is a lovely book. You can tell just by the cover. I'm going to show this up again, but you can tell just by the cover, the moon and the glowing eyes, and how really fantasy this is. So it's a little fantasy novel, published by Author House. So tell us about your book.
It's about a group of moon elves.
Moon elves.
Moon elves. I called them that because when I wrote them, their eyes glow. It's a blessing from their gods, is how I wrote it. So they're basically, they're a scavenger race, more or less. They're, in the medieval setting, I wrote it, you have your knights and your kings and your higher ranking people. Well, the moon elves are great hunters. So the kings would get them to get their venison or their rare meats and stuff. And a couple of them are born and decide that, no, I can be knighted just as well as that man.
Huh.
So they want to change their life and their history.
So you have like a medieval setting. We have humans, kings and knights and queens, and also there's a separate race that are elves that live among them, and they're hunters. And I guess it's all bow and arrow stuff?
Yeah, and swords.
And swords, but there's no guns or machine guns, cannon bombs, stuff like that.
No, it's all medieval.
All medieval type thing.
Yes,
they have
sir.
horses, so it's very similar to Earth, except for the elves.
Yes, and some other races that come out in the book as it continues. Dwarves and other ones.
Dwarves and what?
Dwarves and other races that I wrote.
Other races. Yeah, that's fun. I love that kind of fantasy thing. I have a little series of fantasies myself called the Princess series, where I have dragons and have little trolls and stuff, and they're just so much fun to read. And you tell me that you're an illustrator too. You design the cover, and that your next book's going to have the map of the place and all the different creatures and stuff. Tell us about that.
I'm working on drawing the. I mixed Neanderthal beast with medieval beasts, so I have saber-toothed razorback gorillas and tigers and wolves. So I'm doing sketches and working on drawing them and some silhouettes of the main characters.
I love that. I love that when I'm reading a book to have a feel for what they actually look like and puts it together. And when is that book going to come? What's the second book called? This one's called Mooneyes and the
Dark Moon Council.
Dark Moon Council. And what's the second book called?
Mooneyes and the Rising of the Two Moons.
Rise and the Two Moons. How many books do you visualize in this series?
5.
Okay.
5 so far.
5 books in all. Yeah, that's a nice little series. And tell us about publishing. How did you get about the editing, the publishing? How long did it take you to put the book together?
Right at a year.
1 year? That's quick for a book.
I rewrote it 5 times. But 1 year to get it together, and I ran across a couple other authors that used Author House. So I decided to give them a try and go with them.
Absolutely. They're one of the biggest publishing houses in the country. They do a lot of publishing. I have a book through Author House myself. But it's available in all places. Available on Amazon and Kindle.
Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble. On Psych 3,500 websites I paid for to get it out.
And you were telling me that the reason that you write is that your mother told you before she passed that you had this innate talent and you had to put it out. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, right before she passed away, I've been drawing medieval stuff my whole life. It's my way to escape from reality, I guess you'd say. And I started drawing these little storylines. And she told me I was using my gift the wrong way. I need to write it, not draw it. So I gave her my word before she passed, and the book's out.
Yes, wonderful. I've read a little bit of it. I like the back of it, and the stories, very, very fun fantasy and a great plot that really runs along quickly. Can you read a little bit for us?
Yeah. Forgive me if I stutter or trip. As Dead Dog followed Dove's voice leading him toward Mooneyes, Mooneyes found a young saber-toothed razorback gorilla. Even the young ones were stronger than 10 moon elves, men. She set her bait out to catch and tame it, but her mother had also spoken with Mooneyes' pets, Cloud, and told the lion to follow her, even though Mooneyes had ordered her to stay at a distance. Mooneyes dropped down and shot the young gorilla with a dart lance with a sleeping potion to slow the beast down so she could tame it. But not knowing how much potion to use, she had also put some in the food. She left out the trap to trap it, As she started to eat, Mooneyes triggered the cage trapped she had made to drop on, on top of the saber-toothed razorback gorilla. When it landed, the saber-toothed razorback smashed the cage into kindling. Mooneyes started to jump away, but the beast slammed into her, knocking her 10 feet away into a tree.
Nice, very nice. I like it. It gives a sense of the magical potions and the whole sense of the fantasy world. And you said that you had a favorite author that a lot of your books will remind you of. Tell me about that.
Sharon Canyon.
Sharon
Canyon.
Canyon.
She writes fantasy sci-fi books. And one of her books, when I started reading her book, in it she said that if she would have stopped at like book 2, she would never be where she's at now. Because she said, in her book, she actually said she couldn't even give the book away. And her family supported her, her husband and children, and she kept writing. And now she's got like 31 hits, 31 #1 best-selling books. So
all beginning
she's
so
pretty
hard.
much my inspiration while I was
Good
reading
for
that.
you. And so you're going to keep writing until you have a lot of your books out too. That is great. Well, Ira, it's been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Go to my website, drstreams.com. You can pick up any of my books or any of our guests' books. All the guests have been invited to put their books on my website and get them directly from there.